If you're a premium member of the lynda.com online training library, you have access to the exercise files used throughout this title. On the desktop, I have 3 self-contained sets of exercise files which you downloaded from the lynda.com site. They each contain a Final Cut Events folder and a Final Cut Projects folder. I broke the exercise files into 3 separate self-contained segments to make downloading the files more convenient. Since these segments are self-contained, you don't need to download all 3 segments just to use one part. Let's open a new Finder window and open Movies from the sidebar. Now, if you've launched Final Cut Pro X and saved a project, Final Cut will have created these 2 folders for you, Final Cut Events and Final Cut Projects. All you need to do is drag the contents of each of the 3 downloaded event folders, labeled Part 1, 2, and 3, into the existing Final Cut Events folder, and do the same for each of the project folders, also labeled Part 1, 2, and 3. I want to warn you that if you just drop the folders labeled Final Cut Events and Final Cut Projects into your Movies folder, and there are already those folders present, you will overwrite and lose any other project and event libraries inside. Now, if you go to the Movies folder and you don't have either of these folders, you'll want to open up the folder labeled Exercise 1 Files and drag the entire Final Cut Pro Events folder and Final Cut Projects folder into the Movies folder. Now, just like we instructed earlier, drag the contents of each of the remaining 2 downloaded event folders, labeled Part 2 and 3, into their respective Final Cut Event folders and Final Cut Project folders. Finally, I want to point out that these files are highly compressed, so you would have enough alternative media to enhance your creative experience. Additionally, these lessons don't include every single shot, as that would have made the download enormous. If you don't have access to the exercise files, you can watch the course and use those as an example and work with your own assets. Let's get started.